highlight on this trip, well, everything about this trip has been my highlight because it's the first time I'm traveling out of Nigeria. So everything is a highlight. Like, yeah.
Hey everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the G6 Lover and I am Lover. And in this video we are discussing the very first episode of Big Brother Naija reunion, the level up edition. The episode one, that's the very first night. So Big Brother Naija reunion for this season actually started on the 19th of June, and it's an interesting one so far. But so I want to actually say something before I start to discuss everything that happened on this reunion. Yes, we had 1000k, 1000 subscribers here, and it's a very wonderful thing to achieve. So for us to grow better, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So I want to applaud multi-choice, or like the content department or whatsoever they call them, for giving us a different dynamic or a different show, different from what it has always been. You know, prior to this year, the very first night always have these outmates come, they show us what they've been up to. It's more like a diary of a thing. But this time around, it's them trying to shape to make us like, okay, while they were not on the show, while they were not in the house anymore, Pepsi was able to bring them together. That was the time they had the opportunity to have all of them together on this vacation, and they used this very first night to actually showcase them to us, actually show us a bit of them. And it's an interesting one did, and they had diaries and the rest, and it's a very interesting one to see. So that is that for that. So let us discuss what really happened on this trip. So it's just them showing us the luxury, the beautiful life, and everything these housemates was were able to enjoy during their trip to Cape Town, South Africa. So all the housemates were present for this trip except Ilebaye and Modella, which I think those are two people I could remember that were housemates or that are housemates of this reality TV show, which I could not see, or which I did not see a clip of them from the trip. However, I could remember that when this housemate actually went earlier for this trip, or like this when they traveled to South Africa, Modella was doing something and she did not really go with them. However, she joined them in South Africa later on. I guess it was like after 2 days or so. So I think that was why this vacation and these clips and everything we had from the trip, we do not have any footage of Modella on it. But for Ilibaye, I can't say, or I cannot really tell what really happened and why she was not there. So for let us go into the conversation. So I will not really I will not focus on what happened and everything we were shown. However, I'll focus on the tea. So I'll be gisting you guys everything these housemates dropped during their, not everything, the important, the tea. We're focusing on the tea. I lay emphasis on the tea and the tea only. So on the tea these housemates dropped during their diaries. So while we were watching, there was time which they showed these housemates sitting pretty on the couch or somewhere, and they actually give out opinion and the rest. What you need to know is that there is someone behind the camera who had asked them a certain question which they were giving answer to. I'm so sure probably after all the trips and everything, and before they left South Africa. So this housemaid had to dress up and come for those diary sessions before they left, and those diary sessions were infused into the clips and everything. So I think the very first one was what which of the housemates have they been able to kind of connect with, or probably how are they enjoying the trip so far. It was mainly how were they enjoying the trip so far. That was the very first question. And one thing I noticed is the fact that it was not all the housemates that really had this diary. The likes of Giddy Fire, Diana, Daniela, a couple, Beauty Tukura, and a couple of them did not really had this diary session. Like we do not really see diaries of them. I think even Christy, oh, she did not have any. So let's just see what happened. So for Alison, she was like, the trip had actually made her build a very wonderful friendship with um Doing and Daniela. Then for Deji was like he had come out to experience new culture. Why for Farm Savvy it was like that's been the best time of his life. Groovy was very grateful about having to experience this trip and the rest. Then for Dekule was saying a lot, was saying plenty. And I was like, okay, he actually talked about how having everyone in the house, like having all the housemates back on this trip was just like as if was just a sieve. They are still on in Big Brother's house, you understand? However, the only difference is that there's no pressure. You know, while they were in Big Brother house, there's this tension of you have this tax to do, you have to succeed, you have to there's that like they have that tension of oh I have to achieve something, I have to stay in the house. You know, Big Brother's house do not really come with comfort. Not like there's comfort, but your mind is not at rest because you're actually dealing with, oh, will I be nominated? How can I play safe in this house? And if the next T there, you understand, the next T is like the housemates, this housemate I've been able to bond with during this trip. And for Casey said he had been able to bond so well with Chichi and Diana. Alison had been able to bond so well with Emmys and Daniela. For Farm Savvy, he mentioned Cheesy, Kez, Daniela. Chumsy mentioned Saif and Rachel. DG mentioned Kes, Christy. Oh, he mentioned almost everybody. Though he mentioned Amaka, she said Amaka is a very funny person and she now gets to understand Amaka so well, which I actually get to feel like, yeah, it's understandable that it is like that. Then we had Chichi, like she's cool with whoever is cool with her. Then who else again? So a lot of them actually had their opinion on everything. Then they asked about the housemates that will never talk to themselves anymore. So when this question was asked, most of the housemates who were opportune to have diaries were being I don't know, yes, they were very, very diplomatic with their answer because they were like, oh, they understand that people might have differences, but people will always have that opportunity, or the people might actually turn out to let's go their differences and start to become friends, start to talk and the rest. So they cannot really speak for people and like no, these people never talk anymore. Except from DG who was never who never shy from answering the question. So DG was like for him, if you like Amaka and Kidifaya will never talk to themselves. Then for Amaka, she said like Amaka was also diplomatic with her answer. Most of them were very, very diplomatic with their answer. Then we had the conversation about which housemates was like the pretentious, like the housemates that were very fake or pretended a lot. So most of them too were being diplomatic again, were trying to play safe, as they were like, oh, they don't know who is pretending. They focus on themselves. Like someone like Fina was like, she do not care. She was not paying attention to people who were pretending. She was focusing on herself on the show. Then someone like Amaka was like, oh, she feels she was like the fakest because a lot of people had different opinion and different view of her. So she feels like probably she was fake on the show, which is understandable. You know, Amaka on the show was like very problematic. You know, I don't know if you understand me when I say problematic. She was one housemate that had so much problem. People had different opinion of her. People had a lot to say about Amaka, and I feel so bad that Amaka got evicted the way she was evicted because Amaka was like a very wonderful, vibrant housemate, which really made the level of house to be a very interesting one to watch. Yes, so that's that for Amaka's opinion about pretending housemate. So I'm talking about Adekule's wherever Adekume's comment. So while he was asked this question, Adekule was like, "Oh, some housemates went with strategy and the rest." And this conversation is something that is very tiring, annoying, and also shakes were like, "Oh, some of them were very, very calculated and very calculated on the show, and it's not is I don't know how he puts it, and he said probably you don't care about it or it's not a problem. If you don't care about it, so why are you saying it? And these two people are people who I feel like they were very strategic with their moves in the house, and they are still always the one to cry about people who are strategic. I feel like it's something that is ridiculous for people to always come because it's very dumb of people to go to shows like that and you say you won't be strategic or you will not really calculate your move. It's stupid. You don't just wake up and be like you want to do this. Even if you have even if your plan was like I'm going to this place to just go and have fun, that's your strategy. That's what I don't think Yeah, and I don't really see why being strategic should be an issue, or it should be something that should make other people to cry, or make other people, which other people should see as problem. It's them being sensible. So that's that for that. Then we had conversation about users, like the person who was used the most. So for Cheesy's comment really cracked me up when he said, "Oh, don't you really use them?" I was like, "Really?" Only for him to say, "Oh, she also used him." So I was like, this one is trying to play safe. So a lot of person actually had a lot of things to say. From Service said, he feels Amaka was one who was used the most. So for that one, I cannot really point out how Amaka was used. I felt like probably should have been able to actually give us more tea on that. But it is what it is. Please also talk about the fact that she feels farm survey feels she used him. Yeah, so all of them had a lot of conversation, a lot to say, and that was it. And Amaka actually talked about how she feels like nobody can be used, only you can let people use you. And they were so that was that for Real Outside. Oh my god, Real Outside. That was that for the very first episode of Big Brother Naija Level Up Reunion episode 1, the very first night. So I guess tomorrow we'll really have to see this housemates on this in the studio, and they will come to give us the goes, because I'm so sure we are more keen into the goes that come with reunion more than probably them letting go their differences, or probably reuniting, telling us about their experience or yeah and the rest. So it is what it is, and it is the content we've just subscribed for in this part of the world. So that is all I'll be saying on the Big Brother Nigeria reunion episode 1. Please and please and please subscribe to this YouTube channel, because the gist never ends with Loba. Bye for now.